Yeah, that's some jet to Tojalana Machiva Sanjay Kumbara Mocha Chimney Tobacha. And the age of the new Janjus and Lavana Sushi and Law, the symbol of toilet, Twitch Mano Kodo, and the Council Power that love to shoot in something check.
So let's set our motivation to do whatever we possibly can to attain the peerless state of enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. And knowing that to attain that state, I must really perfect all the trainings on what's known as the Bodhisattva path. And to perfect those trainings, I of course need to be able to rely on a reliable and unmistaken source of teachings. And so it is with this in mind that I am here this morning to listen to a teaching on the graduated path to enlightenment teachings.
Yeah, that cousin was a Dicasa. That Denjo, the get a job at Chitsanga. Denjo will be there, Tati, Nika with Sucha. That the get the jets and that never did, and that didn't take nature Chasa Shibetoneta. Shibeton and never that the never there and Nibukas language, Dondakas language, what Nibukas language to sweet that Nibuchita level to Sumcha, Takaja, Kibuchungu, that tomorrow language, but lots of things that tomorrow language, lots of Kibuchi language, but lots of that subject Sumcha, what it is.
And so we have been discussing what's known as the precious human rebirth of favorable conditions and opportunities. And so having gained some knowledge about what that entails, what the significance of that is, then we come to say, okay, so having realized that, having come to know what it means to have these favorable conditions and opportunities, what then? What do we do then? And so now we move on to next major outline of this text, which is the how to take the essence of that precious human rebirth. And this is dealt with under 3 subheadings. And they are how to train the mind in the path which is in common with the being of smaller capacity or smaller potential. And then the second is how to train the mind in the path held in common with the medium capacity being. And then how to train the mind in the stages of the path of the greater capacity being.
Or the distant Takaja do some good or the Kibuch. That I would the Takaja Kibuchu language, what I love to the Laya Nietzsche. And that's because of the twin of what that's our twins of the Chitacha.
And so then we'll begin with the first of these outlines, the how to train the mind in common with the being of smaller capacity. And this is dealt with under 2, again, subheadings. And the first of these, what we should do during the actual session, and then what we should do in the between session time.
Lamrim Chemusor said the 10, Lamrim Lamrim that the Lobson Java, the Yamsulan, the Yamsulan to Chris language as a source. Yamsulan, the tune the tunes of news channel, Yamsulan go to tune the tunes of news channel, Yamsulan, what is it? That the name, and that the Kibuchungu language, but the time because Lord Jangu user, Lord Jangu user, Lord Jan, Lord Comgo user, and it tune the tunes of news channel, Lord Comgo to what the two was a tunes of the Javasa. Nietzsche, Chita was a Dambutilla, Joa, Jusum, Jongo, Jusum, Chenata, Tune the Layan, Jongo, Jusum, Chet, that Dambut Joatilla, Takaja. 좋아도 다 거는 것도 남는 공부시 남주 시바도 다 딩이라 좋아하는 신전에 다 같이 가서도 다 같이 내가 지다 저 구속도 그때 잡아라서 맞다 저는 맞제네 아니 다가는 시 저거 요면 그거 제가 잡아라서 아니 다가는 시게 아니 다 아니 가서도 아니 잡도 가서도 잡도 세다비에 아니 되네 대체자를 초신 세다에 다 초사 직장지에 되게 찾아가지 마 조건 다 간제 데 똑바줄에 개발라 아니 초사 직장한테 찾아서 조고요 다 어떤 데 다 간제 어디를 제전다 어디를 지구를 수고도 어디를 다 간제 데 초신 대체 아니 초신마 대체 초신 뒤에 아니 다 랑이 지고라 아니 가서 라마 통화 도지 창시다 디 초신 용서가 다니 된다 초신마 다 같이좀 가서 주위나 파티 디제네 아니 되네 초신 야초 뒤제네 초신 뒤 아니 초신 뒤는 랑이 지고라 아니 라마 다 라마 통화 도지 창 아니 될라 안 초신 용서 될라 팀체네 아니 어떻게 터나 단나 디 지고를 공체는 디도는 염slanda 수고도 와 어떻게
So these outlines dealing with what to do during the actual session and what to do during the between session times. Now this is of course directly referring to the fact that this is a practice text based on the great treatise of the stages of the path to enlightenment by Lama Tsongkhapa. So each section, each subject is of course it is imperative that one engages in an actual practice in a really a kind of a retreat meditation context. So therefore what to do during the actual meditation period when you're actually in session, and then what to do during the between session times. And so here, and it's here the emphasis is on how do we train the mind. You know, for example, here in the subheading or in the heading of training the mind in common with the being of smaller capacity. So it's what we actually practice. How do we transform the mind? What to do in order to effect that transformation of the mind. So in that, then again, what to do during the actual session, and this is commensurate really with any session, especially when we are training the mind in the graduated path teachings. There are the preparatory practices, the actual session, and then the conclusion of that session. And it's important to get each part correct. And here, when we talk about the preparatory practices, of course here, you know, it's the normal preparatory practices of cleaning one's place of practice, of going for refuge from the depths of our heart, of generating the merit field, for example, the refuge merit field. And in this context here, you know, and indeed what we're doing here in the context of these preparatory practices is effectively kind of generating the necessary credit, as it were, in order for the practice session to turn out as well as possible. So there are the purification practices and the generation or accumulation of merit practices included in those preparatory practices. In terms of the generation of the merit field, first is the extensive generation in the space in front of us of the refuge merit field, with Munindra Vajradhara as our guru in the form of Munindra Vajradhara in the center, in the kind of like a main position. And then we dissolve all the merit field into that single figure, the main figure of Munindra Vajradhara, which comes to the crown of our head to begin the session. And so then we begin with the supplication to that figure on our crown. I make supplication to Munindra Vajradhara, who is the Supreme Lama Lord embodiment of all refuges. And that this continues as before, in the same manner as we have started other sessions on other subjects.
어디서 야채가시 일하자 다 근데 어디서 세다면 아니 저 도주 잡을 거는 손대지 아니 되네 다 간제 되네 다다 말씀제 탐자다 라다 아니 다간지 타이다 라가 타고는 선배 탐자 공부시 다다 아니 말씀제 탐제 아니 코안내네 아니 유리가 슈 선배 탐제 시도 아니 다다 말씀제다 뒤주요나 아니 저기 냥감 잡게라 소바 다간지 이다 치 뒤바제 나기 뒤바제 지나니가 뒤바제 아니 다간지 준도래야 아니 감라 내봐다 셰라 내봐 아니 다간지 미 좋아 되게도 공부하지 아니 되네 아니 하마이 아니 다네 송감 다 아니 되베 가서 되감게 아니 다 되감게 다도 돌아 다지 돌아 소바 아니 다간지 송감벨라 되게도 공부하지 감시 송감게 아니 어떻게 공부하지 아니 되네 소매감 근데 공부하지 봐이나 또 지서 야 심제 탐지에 수도 거저 칼 검다를 주네 somso 지금 좋아하시다 많이 거 있었지 이게 그가 삼로 이게 그가 코에 토는 인데 공부하시기 있나 아니 다다 말씀제 탐제스도 이게 그가 로유를 잡았잖아 what 저는 공부하시는 또 야가 요부터
And so then we begin this session with the thought that we should think, and that here we talk about all myself and all mother sentient beings being born in cyclic existence. And so here, again I was saying, we should really pause here to make sure that when we make these kinds of initial contemplations, that we don't just rattle thing off paying lip service to myself and all mother sentient beings without any special feeling to that, without any special cognizance really, or detail. So if we have the time, it's very useful to actually go through the different realms of existence in which sentient beings are indeed suffering. And in a way, if not to put a face on those sentient beings, but to put a context. For example, like really contemplate what kind of suffering those sentient beings are enduring in the hell realms, on the 8 great hells or the 8 cold hells. Then go through into the hungry spirit realms, those who are suffering, the hunger and thirst that is characteristic of the hungry spirit realms, or those who have inner obstacles to being able to take in sustenance, or outer obstacles, or both inner and outer obstacles to actually availing of any kind of sustenance to keep themselves well. And then, of course, the animal realm is suffering from the benighted ignorance of those who are, eating each other and so on, all the various sufferings. Go through the human realms, the specific sufferings that we all are so au fait with. Then the Asura realms, and then the desire realms, celestial beings, to look into the kind of sufferings that they do, like those with the 5 signs of impending death and so on. And then into the form realm, and the formless realm, so that one really starts to get some idea of the sentient beings that one is referring to when we make these, when we generate these thoughts. And of course, also when we talk about all sentient beings, we also include those who we regard as friends, who have that friendly nature towards us, those who we regard as enemies, and those who have enmity with us, and those who are neutral, where there's no particular feeling that arises one way or the other. So we also include those kind of emotional categories of relationship that we have.
Yeah, what samlu나 당부 samlu 먼저 semje 탐자 먹부터야 먼저 semje 탐자 손대제 samlu다 제외가라 되게 그러니까 즉 semje 탐자에서도 되게 단계 봐서 semje 탐자에서 빌로죠. 아니야 뒤도 고바식 정보 차원도 아니 마음 발지 소소 너밖에 겐들 남자 마가 시다 마요야지 마가 시다 마요야지 근데 롤거 때문에 뭐저 심제 탐자라 아니 가서 너밖에 겐들 심제 콜 멤버스로 차로 잡지기도 와 차로 지기도 와 가서 뭐저 로고 배우
And so there's, of course, a very practical eventuality to thinking in this way, to really dividing up the general term of all sentient beings, all mother sentient beings, in this context of friend, enemy, and neutral, for example, so that we become like there's a familiarity in the mind with regard to these particular relationships, and so that in the future, when we encounter somebody who maybe is harmful towards us, we won't respond more likely with dislike for that person. We won't hold a grudge as easily because we have seen them in this context.
다다 말씀제 탐제서 아니 다 코아게 아니 코아게 유진라 아니 슈타베 동엔 나소와 녀와디 다 이제 안 치와미다 봐 아니 삼로마도 삼로 코마도 같이 삼로 치와미다 봐 어서 거자 아 치와미다 봐 어서 마사베 인스타 치와미다 봐 똑같이 맞게 봐 인자 디제샤스로와 디제샤 되네 인자 아니 오라 가서 치와미다 봐 어서 마삼신 아니 마삼바 치와미다 봐 도바 맞게 봐 다가는 이제 아니 년주 동에 되게 된 제마도 봐 어다 가서 동에 제네서 제마도 어때 내 옹게서 데데자 안 데라 탐적을 로슈다 맞게 봐 인자 아니 또 년주 동에게 다 가서 다 년주 동에 나서 봐 녀대지 루아다 녀대지 루아 년주 동에 나도 와 녀대 다가 이제 아니 지금 토리 내게 봐 이네 토리 그 동에 나서 와 녀대지 딱 이제 코안에 타와지 주문도 와 디가스는 나라서我打点的光给的，打的研究中的来这些站的工作是了，您台湾的教授马说话的，安教授马说话，当然那些打教授从呢，第安南点嘛这些娘子啷个，这娘子来的，连着娘子来的，真的是对了，连着娘子嘛。那么多，这个连着了一些个地方嘛，基本我打点这个，那当这个那个连下是打这个啊，当告诉他弄出着新的下死。是吧？连度别是，但那的大马生在谈这句来呢，7万米大吧，这么大，这么怎么的7万米大吧，多么给对，大概人研究个东西这么大，我的研究东西这呢，得了谈这个老兄弟这样呢，给过度，嘛给那他们多，真正在研究个东西来讲呢，工作说了，您台湾的加速做啊。잡수 전에 가서는 잡수 전에다 그거做 가서 딜랍자 냠술라에 들어와. 안 딜랍자들 렌제 랍자 용사 렌제를 이치게 대박겠네. 안 디본께서 수시도 준내 봐대. 다 지기니 마치나 타면도 치투가 지기 삼사다. 아니 대대 제도 봐대. 아니 라마레 지기 랍도 소스 담 지기 담샤. 담제제. 아니 대대 제도 봐대. 아니 라마레 지기 랍도 소스. 안 소대지 어떻게
So that myself and all mother sentient beings have through being born in cyclic existence, have for a long time had to experience a whole variety of extremely harsh sufferings, and that this is the reality of the situation for myself and all mother sentient beings. But why is that the case? And here the answer is given fourfold in terms of, one, we have not reflected on impermanence in the form of death. Though we might recall the sufferings of the lower realms, this has not led to the rising of a very determined mind to again attain liberation. And though we have fear of the sufferings of the lower realm, this has not led to our being able to go for refuge from the depths of our hearts to the triple gem of Buddha, Dharma and Sangha. And fourthly, we have not really developed, generated the faith of conviction in the law of cause and effect. And so these all follow one after the other. this ability to really understand that death in the form of impermanence is so incredibly important, because after which then we are reborn. We'll either take rebirth in a lower realm or a fortunate realm, and so we must remember the sufferings of the lower realm and then develop a proper attitude to take liberation from that state of suffering. And that's important in doing that is to be able to go for refuge to the triple gem from the depths of our heart. And because that requires the taking on of precepts, that of course leads us into living our lives according to the law of cause and effect. So developing conviction in karma, in the law of cause and effect, is extremely crucial. So therefore, our task is, on the one hand, to really realize, to recall death in the form of impermanence, impermanence in the form of death rather, and really develop that in the mind streams of myself and all mother sentient beings, and that we should, through recalling the sufferings of the lower realms, be able to go for refuge. Through recalling the sufferings of the lower realms, we should be able to really develop a very powerful mindset wishing to attain liberation. And again, through fear of the suffering of the lower realms, we must generate a refuge in the triple gem from the depths of our hearts. And since, again, this follows on, to do that, we need to be able to develop the ability to generate virtue perfectly, and to eradicate negativities through our faith of conviction in the law of cause and effect, and following on and those precepts which we got from taking refuge. And so we really, first of all, make a powerful vow to ourselves that we will really take on these four but very key elements to be able to do our best. But we also make powerful supplication to the Guru on our crown. O Guru Lama, please bless me to be able to do this. And so, as a result of this vow, this conviction that we have, this making of this supplication to the Guru deity on our crown to really help us, and then the 5 colored nectar lights emanate from the heart center of the Guru, and they flow through my crown and the crowns of all mother sentient beings all around, and they eradicate all negativities and obscurations and that we have accumulated since beginningless time. And in particular, the light eradicates the particular negativities and obscurations to our being able to generate these specific realizations in our mind streams. And that we really feel that our mind has now since being ripened, and that this is the purpose of supplication to the Guru like this, to facilitate our session. And so as a result of the nectar lights entering in through the crowns of myself and all mother sentient beings, our bodies also then transform into pure clear light, and we are endowed with all the conducive conditions for practice, such as a long life and good health and merit, and also an increased realization of the scriptural and realizational teachings, and that we also realize that we have the potential to gain a realization in our own mind streams of the subject matter at hand.
다 니바 무시들 시전에다 무시들 시전다 가자 치워미다 봤어 봐. 년주동에서 봐. 다도 어디를 쳤다. 그래서 치워미다 봤어 봐. 년주동에서 봐. 아니 군조소라서 잡소. 좋아. 아니 좋아.连着了 이제 대박 개발지. 왔다 근데 저 subject 시고는 공부시했지. 어디를
And so the second of those headings then was the actual, after the preparatory practice, the actual session, the main body of the session, and this of course has these 4 subheadings as its subject matter, reflecting on impermanence in the form of death, reflecting on the suffering of the lower realms, and then training in going for refuge to the triple gem, and generating the faith of conviction in the law of cause and effect.
다 당부의 지월 라마라 검신배 나네 안테다 삼테스다 삼로테다 다 간제 니에바 가시 아니 니나 되다 가서 니라 슈사바네 지레 다 직된 쪽으로 되디 니 가시 니나 아니 되다 침보제 되 주에 돈저 차레 덴데 지레데 이내야 디 규르부 되게 좀 해봐서 뉴도 직도 그래서 직대에서 다 뉴도 직도 그래서 거다 공모인 내수로 왔다 되가 뉴도 직대에서 아나 치당이야 버려. 근데 지금 안에 뭐 이마 직다 다 가서다 미디 시버에 첼레 대버렸어. 첸데리에서 그다 용에 딱 녀버와. 녀버어 올라. 대야 류진다시 란자 치외 미수가 매졌다. 류그데슬라바네 치외 모수바 가서 깨스가 주여사바절라. 아니 치외데 단냠도 깨바데 아니 치외 규차도 도와. 근데도 어떤 대사 미수가 매대서 미다베 촘려서 가야 산제 라산제 산제 남제 년되자 굴류 되네 본제나 기부 배바 매치고요 셰송바다 당사
So the first of these then is through our reflecting on what follows, with a visualization of our guru deity on our crown, and then through clearly visualizing this, we reflect as follows: that we have attained the human rebirth of favorable conditions and opportunities, which is extremely difficult to attain. It is very, very meaningful, but even though we have this now basis, it will quickly disintegrate. It won't last long. The Lord of Death, it says, is definitely coming. And so this is something that we must face up to, that it is absolutely there. The kind of implicit conditions for death are already present in our system. That once we are born, really birth is simply just a cause of death, and we must be able to see it like this, and that this is no matter what kind of life we attain, we will not be able to avoid death. No one can remain unharmed by death. No one is exempt, and so this is something that we have to really understand. And then from the compendium of the teachings, it says, if the Buddhas, the practical Buddhas and the Shravakas have to give up their bodies, no need to mention that we ordinary people will also have to do so.
두제도 tumba시 땡고야. 두제도 tumba시 땡고데 에는 공바소에 남아 중고도 와. 공바소에 남아. 두제 tum바 마데는 원지 제도고요. 마. 제 마도는 아니 송년 두고요. 마. 송년 마도는 아니 편도 제도고요. 말와. 편도 제도고요. 마. 데데 인사 대신 셔버 도제 군이 바 남자서 두제도도 직된 시도 생나 다자 기부 패바나 따지면 지체서. 다 유강도 대자 치외 미주가 매대 촘래 강도 내내 치외 미주가 사조되는 요마인데 바나라메 자춘나나메 리본남게 셉도 슈나메 셰 수베치르서 교회 주방 또다 노다 제다 나다 면라서바 간지자 도도 메시 교회 주베 타사메 장son 친구 내 외시다 아니 칼라 장르도 좋아야 가나 주유 치매에서 권하주고 쓰고이다 다들 치 먹고 그지다 내가 가나 주유 치매에 내지 친구 메뉴소 시송배 치르서
And so here it refers to that particular quote, if Buddhas, practic Buddhas, etc. It's saying that even though the Tathagata attains what is known as the Vajra body, and that in fact the Vajra body is unchanging, it can remain so indefinitely. But saying here, for the sake of disciples, the Buddha demonstrates the passing on, or the giving up of this body, the dying. But of course, this is, it's not just for the sake of disciples, but also it's that there is this implicit connection with disciples. It's like in harmony with the disciples that are present. The body of the Buddha, the Vajra body of the Buddha, demonstrates either remaining as is or passing on. It's all for whether benefit can be given and accrued or not. And so this is the case for the Tathagata who has attained the Vajra body. Then there's no need to say that we ordinary people are not going to go the same way, that we also are definitely going to die. And in fact, whatever land we are born in, there's no example of somebody who has been able to avoid death. Nobody is exempt. Everybody dies. And again, from the compendium of the teachings or the sayings of the Buddha, it says, wherever you stay, there will be no place that does not mean your death. Not in the sky, not in the sea, not even if you stay in the mountains. And that here it's saying too, like, however quickly you may try to flee, it's going to be no good. Whatever power you have, whatever wealth you have, whatever spells you cast, whatever mantras you say, whatever medicine you rely on, you cannot reverse the death process. So you cannot escape death by moving very quickly. It doesn't work. And also from the dispelling grief section of the teachings, it says, anyone with the 5 clairvoyant powers of great rishis able to go far into the sky cannot go to a place that is not under death's jurisdiction. So again, it's reiterating here that regardless of what sort of qualities or particular attainments, powers you have, whether it's wealth, whether it's the use of spells or mantras or medicine, etc., that nothing you can do is going to stop death, and nothing is going to reverse that process. And so, in that whatever external or internal conditions there are, you cannot reverse the death process. And that here, it's the pointing to what is simply reality. When your time comes, that's it. Beforehand, sure, maybe you have wealth that you can use to avail of the best medicine available to extend your life or to recover from some illness, or you might have some power to influence your health in some way to overcome a particular illness or to get the best treatment and so on. You might have those who beforehand are great supporters who can really give you a lot of support, and even in cases like in countries where there's a very good medical system, sure, you can avail of that, rely on that to a certain extent. But when your time comes, nothing, no matter how powerful you are, no matter how rich you are, no matter how many supporters you have, nobody can help you. That your time has come, and that's that. And so at some stage, your doctor is going to actually say, well, that's it. You have 6 months, or you have 1 month, or something like that. And there's nothing you can do to extend that or to overcome that process.
Tell number beje and dipje pata tell get saneta tell number ni yo dipje neta but cause moment na ma dipje ma chung ko de warada roa ta ma dipje ko yor bata roa ta ngojo da ta o diring pe ki wu shi wu chung nam shi ya go de ki wu shi wu chung su go de tete ma dipje to ko do roa ngara do holiday de ko de dipje de holiday yo ma ko de da 24 hours 7 day mutu yo de ko 다 근데 무트는 용 되게 여봐 있나 코다 가제데 체지 요래 아니 집제 뭐 무트는 용 되도 24 hours 7 day 무트는 용 되도 다 니마지 치셔서 용에 다 줘봐라다 좋사면도
And so it's saying here too that nothing can be added to your life, and that the time is ebbing away constantly, unremittingly, moment by moment by moment. And so it's this is just the reality of the situation. That we might think, oh, I'm very happy today. The weather is lovely, and that I have this holiday I can enjoy. But your actual lifespan never takes a holiday. Time is always diminishing. It's always ebbing away. And that there, 24/7, there's no respite. And at some point, your time runs out. That's the end of it. And that's emphatically decided. And that's it, then you're dead.
베제티나 순다네 체절로 죽주대가 온도 제와이나 로 죽주스도 거기 걸어라 놀가니 로 죽주세요 체절로 죽주대가 온도 제장사 로 죽주스 로 죽주 심바 남네 달로 치암 다수 치암 상진 낭지 따고 있어요. 왔다들 다 롱가 주 심바 남자 안에 체자 로 줄려 말래. 대신도 라레 숨닐 라레 체점 송어세 다 같이 같이 되고나 되는 다 같이 숨전이 있어 같이 제가 하스 조사래 다 같이는 님만 뭐 하요 다 되게 차대요. 다 같이 내다 진짜 제일 하마디요. 안 제일 하말 하대야 돼. 다 그랬어도 로네 로스긴데 다와 중니가 로스거든. 들어? 난 다외게 다와데네 샤가 티토로 왔다. 수진이 슈잡시게 게 아니 답변을 먼저 나가르다 앞에 둔타서 조금 쉬도다. 뭐 조금 조금도. 조금 더해 가서나 니마 둔게 둔타서 차대기 열어 와. 되다다. 다 니마 지라 수진이 슈잡시자. 수제 니시 잡시데 수제질라 가마 죽주체 나 가마리를 세긴 죽주체 왔다 들으셔도 다 들으셔도 다 들으셔 봐봐 사주도 왔다 사주고 여러다 나는 좀 손자 제일 하마디야 로네 다와네 샤네 니전소 손외 손네 인데스는 파세주고 도와서 대양 아는 가도 대양 가도 손외제 가도 대야 유점식 손외제 진주래 니전 되봐 예매봐 세대 다도规矩시 넘버规呢 오면은 다다 치와 지미 조스다 가정아 치와 책이 말했어 시수배 칠자
So it's the example here of somebody who has reached maybe 60 years of age. And again, I'm saying this is like not much time left for me and him. If that's the case. And so you're 60 years gone. So, you kind of like have to be thinking that maybe, you will die that year. Or maybe tomorrow, or maybe the day after tomorrow. That it really is getting to the pointy end, really, of life at that age. And then for somebody maybe who has got 50 years under their belt, they might think, oh, maybe I've got about 10 years left. But that's no guarantee whatsoever. It may be 2 or maybe 3 years, or maybe even less. And that there's no kind of like definite limit on when you can die. And that here we must be aware that even in the time left, that time is always ebbing away. Like each year is passing with 12 months, and then every month passing with that many days, and every day passes like through 24 hours, and that each of those hours, 60 minutes, each of those minutes, 60 seconds, always ticking away. So we have that like in days from morning till evening. And we notice how quickly a week goes, isn't it? Like, suddenly it's Monday and the next thing it's like Friday. It's like the week just flies by, as they say. And so it's like that. A moment by moment, time is slipping away. And as it says in the Bodhisattva's way of life, why should I then not die? If every day without fail, this life is always getting shorter and no additions to it will come from anywhere.
먼저 미래지다 배나 가셔 보고 되게지다 파마 가셔 보고 다 보고 주나 성사 된게 뭐뭐 열어봐야 다 보고 지께사도 다 보고 깨서서 가보시자 보고 깨봐네 보고 시에 와서 사도
And so that there's this commonly held opinion that for parents to give birth to a child is something really to be celebrated, and they many parents have this as their most cherished ambition to give birth to a child, but none of them realizes that the birth of the child is the main cause for that death of that child. It comes simultaneously with their birth. That's the actuality of it. The newborn will die. Like the Tibetan saying is refers to, it's implicit in the words, ge song. Ge means birth, but the song is like a past tense kind of verbal ending. So it's like giving, it's inferring that the birth has been finished, basically referring that, once you're born, death comes next, kind of thing. Even within the words, there's great significance in the way they're put together in Tibetan.
ngeju le sung patar sa ko ngam ju to le sung patar ta bo ji be du lo ju ne che ju be sam lo ne mini tar gu be kap lo ni shu ne sa ta tar gu be kap lo ni shu ne che ju be kap me la de par do ya ka sa ta ni gi che che ne so ge ja du so du to ma shi se ne che ju be kap chung se le me do sa re ta ga ja bo sam lo ta na che ju be du se me de ken chi ka sa na 미지 체가는 것은 이 구대고요. 와. 미지 체가 배진 예 되고요. 아니 때는 다야 지금 통계인스 명자네. 야, 미지 초에서 사회 통해 대세된다야. 내가 제 직전에 아무저 소고도 어떤데 직제고. 아니 다가는 칼라소에다다 야 민님도 계제시 홀리데 건가들 청문회 제대 두중문에 매등 소죠. 왔다 두주시 오늘 다 최진경 집안에 두주 통도 좀 매되겠지. 어떤데 차대고도 어쩌고 안 다가는 이제 뒤바라 나사 용거를 다 담아다 간가 용거를 와.
And so the next point is that even when we are alive, there is so little time to engage in spiritual practice. And that here there's a quote from the Entering the Womb Sutra, where it says, in the beginning we are like children for 10 years and too young to have the thought to practice Dharma. At the end we are old for about 20 years and there is no ability to practice Dharma. In between, half of life is spent asleep and much time is lost due to sickness and so on. So there is no more than a little time for Dharma practice. And this is only stating the fact of the matter as well, isn't it? That, we can talk about spending half our life in bed asleep. And then there's the time we have to spend eating, preparing food, the time for work, of making money, the time we just sit around talking to each other, and then going on holiday. There's actually very little decent time for genuine spiritual practice. And sickness, of course, as well takes more time. Yes, and then within all the talk, there's all the criticizing of others and the arguing about the minor points and so on, and all this time wasted.
Yeah, lo gemba chacha보다 대게도 왔다. 먼저 로 쭉쭉쭉 계제 세기도 돼. 디게스보다 대유나 뒤주지도 와. 네, 이래 대 예밤도 와. 가시는 아메 코바나는 시도도. 가시는 줄로 깨차는 로직니는 시도도. 그러다 먼저 다는 다 지게를 때데 가서 도초에 된다도 시미트리 스칸에 도초. 다들 이기 로다. 가시는 이제 로출이 쉬우더라도 와. 가시는 로축지 중니들 가시는 니슈자다 가시 숨조서라 가시 시주자다 다 가시 계주 급주지도 갈간사요래 다 같이 지금 롤링 예밤미도 와 어디래 다 치와 예밤에서 치에 예자와 맞아 아니 남친 예매시래도 대도나 자자래도
So so here we have dealt with the main point that death is definite. There's no contradicting that. That there's no way of reversing that process. But even more kind of like to the point is the second main point, and that is that the time of death is indefinite, and that there is no guarantee of any old age. There's no guarantee that we will have this much time. And that is really a salient point for us, that some people die in birth, some people die before they're one, and some people die in their teens, in 20s and so on. If you go to a cemetery, it's a very very sobering experience to read the details on the headstones and see that so many have died in their 20s, in their 30s, in their 40s. And that some, yes, have had an old age, but you can see by the overall picture that there's no pattern, there's no guarantee of old age at all.
What are the 미가제 지금 홀리데이 도인스 수용도 아니 풍부야 레고도 데보디야 레고도 뭐도 또 니가 돼도 예버다.
So we can see on the news many times, and people describe it going on holiday and then coming back as a corpse. It's not unusual even.
Yeah. What are they on the and console 단다 먼저 통대에도 되는데 랑라 되는데 연구 매바데 연구 매바데 딩주요 봐봐. 랑아 집어치지 봐.
And like when we see that on the news or in any kind of demonstration, that we certainly can't have any confidence that this is not going to happen to ourselves. In other words, we have to remind ourselves that this will definitely happen to me too.
다들 좀 무슨 두저도 말도 다 이제 지 종샤 대사 많이 벌써 아니 다 뒤에 다들 종 되긴 뒤야 다 지금 마조 한게라 나라도 다시 전에 초유견 전에 대대 봐 예 루스 예 미지스 개치부 진 대대겠지 다다 다들 내가 다 종을 그게 저거서 민zam에도 팔라게지도 와 아니 소소야 니마지 되는시 차기 여바됐다 땡겨 봐라 땡겨 봐라면 또 대마기와 말이 땡겨 사버려
이 통조라
두두두두 뭐 땡겨 사버려 다디 중독제
So that even when we look at animals.
No 말 두두 cemetery.
Oh right, in the cemetery. Also, like when we are observing the headstones in this way and really calculating how long people had in their lives and so on, we have to really reflect that these people were alive, of course, just like I am now, and they held their own body and their own life to be something, the most important thing to them, and yet death claimed them, and they are gone. They are now there in the grave, and that I must get the lesson from this, that I also, who consider my body and my life to be of paramount importance, will one day have to give it up. I will lose it, and that there's no two ways about that.
어디잖아. 나가는 이제 답변은 가라서 남박이 임바 인사 겨왕아지를 랑이 겨왕아마 그가 들어서 잘 침몰하다. 겨왕아마 그가 제하요 말와. 걔네 돌아.
And I've gone through this process. When we are Buddhist, we accept past and future lives. So obviously, I've gone through that death process in the past. But of course, I don't remember anything. Everything is forgotten from before. But it certainly happened.
그래, 다 되게 그가 단다 겨왕아마 되게 안전 하라고자 다 단다게 겨와디 다 풍부실했다. 소부대대어다. 대한님아 직다 딘당시 겨왕아마 뜻은 신전에 동아인 받 다치가 잡았다. 다치가 잡아라.
So just as I am aware that if I've had previous lives, that they have gone through the death process and are gone now, and that this same thing, things haven't changed so dramatically that it will be any different now, that I have this life and that I am living now, but that my end is death, and this will come for sure.
치와 마서 남친게 봐봐. 다치 자매니 배체는 로또도 게 현남에 라라게 체제 투베에서 게바 메나야 폐체 게바 마 그래서 폐체에서 게바 그래서 현남에 라라게 체제 투베에서 게바 메나야 폐체 게바 망라사 잡을링바 신도 망해봐 이랬다. 다 링셔바 셔바도냐 체제 게바 때 도도 요구해서 되네. 다 나라 잡을링 딜라 아니 체제 망해봐. 잡을링 신도 망해봐 이게 다고 로빠도 매봐 투베. 되네. 다로 다도 로 줄라링타 제고바. 가자스나 로 주게 네 체링 줄라 찍고 있는 마마 첼로마 팁전. 다다 야서 개슈 바말라야 다다기 내셔 남치랑 예바 메데게 줄래. 대나 망에 타만니 로주 당보 빠도메 제다 촘래자 나도 기부 망동와 치조 같이 통미죠. 그래 치조 기부 망동와 양 나도 같이 통미죠. 제다 개바 비메 망보다 달라 바바 치조나 델라 미디 쉐쉐데 수베 땡조 지시여스 로충조레스 쉐쉐레스 규르부스에 띵수 가르요스라 카지 내도 치와주 대신 카지 가서 셀 잡나 대신 같이 고점남 대신 같이 여서 용주나 라라 겜베 라라슈 라라다와 바베미 림게 잡도 조조데 제부 민바 루와신 셰다 촘레자 상다 직된 치만이 응어도 강아 되메베 상기 셀라 미베바 치메도도 베바리 셰숭베 칠자.
And so the time of death is uncertain, and that here it's saying in the context of the 4 continents, it says that those beings on the land of Kuru, the continent of Kuru, said to have a fixed lifespan of 1,000 years. And then on on 2 other continents of Godania and Videha, they say that the lifespan is mostly fixed, but still uncertain. But here, on the land that we are, known as Zambuling, the lifespan is very uncertain. And so here we can't, it says here that in the beginning, when life started on this continent, the lifespan was immeasurable. But it says it ends up at just 10 years lifespan. And so now, if we look at the reality is that, there's no certainty for when those who are old, those who are young, or those who are middle-aged, when they will actually die. It's completely uncertain. Again, from the Abhidharma Kosha, it says that in the that there's no certainty. At the end, it's 10 years, and at the beginning, it was measureless. And again, from the compendium of the teachings, it speaks about some of the many people you see in the morning, you will not see in the evening, and some of the many people you see in the evening, you will not see them in the following morning. And then also, from the same text, it talks about many men and women, not only old and young, but people in their prime die. Some die in the womb, some when they are just born, some when they can crawl, some when they can run, some in the glory of maturity, some young and some youthful. Eventually, absolutely all will be gone, like ripe fruit falling. And also, then from the compendium of the teachings, it says, what comes first, tomorrow or the next life? So don't bother about tomorrow. Better to put your effort into the next life.
다딜레 개쳐와도 가려서는 깨와도 가와기고 하고 매바 인자 다 치와도 녀대도와 안데 뭐고 상다 지대 치만이다 손결에 요메다 하고 뭐도와 다 되는 이번에서 다 지대 치만을 편바 두배도 개쳐모래 손에 들어왔다 손에 가서나 치와도 녀차와래 치와 매바 소에스케요 말이야 다 깨도 다 깨와들래 아니 로 치와게 남친 녀매 치외세다 최근에도 가야 미패바 인사 뭐 대화 되고요 동네 되고요 맞다 대화지 좀 거도 아니 그 최주 맞도 봐 용해 말아 아니 인사 아니 치매 되는 주에 최주 주에 개침 머리에 숨에 차버고 다 데리고 어디래
And so, of course, knowing that death is definite is really not the key importance in itself, but rather what happens after death, that we will have the next life. And so that's why understanding death is of key importance. It's what we do with our next life. Like it says, what comes first, tomorrow or the next life? We don't know. And that it's not like when we die that we completely disappear. We do have to take rebirth again. And that only the Dharma then, when it comes to death, only the Dharma will be of benefit to us. So we say, what is the meaning behind this subject matter of death being definite, the time of death being indefinite, and only at the time of death, only Dharma will be of benefit to us. Why? Because we have to think about what happens in the future. So don't worry about tomorrow, but better to put your effort into the next life. So this is what it's about.
Tene yimba gasa de böge lama mongbi sungyo la chiwa la mita kieba la tas chiwa la shegu mares ta 가를 shegu san kieba la shegu kaba kiegu ma hagu yo mar was dile shejena ne di youtube twitch yabori ke youtube twitch gures.
So as many great Tibetan holy beings, lamas, have say, it said, don't worry about death. There's no need to fear death, but really fear the next life. Really fear where you're going to be born in the next life. And so this is a very practical way of looking at it, because you don't know where you're going to be born next. You know death's going to happen, so why be worried about it? But you don't know what happens after death. So therefore now, maybe definitely create the causes so that you have a definite direction for where you're going in next life.
That chiwa ngeba namchi ngeme yimba yinsa ani di ta 탑시 매발 딱 요매 되게 저도 딱 ngoyu 내수 자. 딱 ngoyu 내수 된데 yimba yinsa 다디 아니 지금 치마 편절 다디 ngoyu 내수 디 아니 치마 편절 펜베 아니 유튜브도 watch 다 다디자 치와nye 남치 녀매 안 치외제 최고도 마법의 인사 아니 가르치고 그러서다 아니 최두바 타제 안 최대 단단한 두바 타제 왔다데 단단한 두바 타제 디아는 최宽的 두바 타제가 이제 그 당주 지금 숨지해 줘 봐. 왔다 디오를 어디를 걸 왔다.
And so that's and so here, when we talk about death being definite and the time of death being indefinite, these are things that are non-negotiable. That they are the facts of the matter, the reality, the actuality of the situation. And so here, why, what is the reasoning behind that we have to create the causes to look after our future lives? And so the three main outlines under the subject of death is that death is definite, and that the time of death is indefinite, and that only Dharma is going to be of benefit to us at that time of death. And so I said that there are three conclusions that one should reach having meditated on these three outlines. From meditating on the fact that death is definite, one should absolutely resolve to engage in spiritual practice. After contemplating the fact that the time of death is indefinite, the conclusion we need to come to is that I must engage in practice now, starting now. And then the third, knowing that only Dharma will be a benefit to us at the time of death, the conclusion is that I must solely dedicate myself to spiritual practice. These are the three conclusions. So these are and so these are the reasons why one meditates on impermanence in the form of death, this whole subject, and that we have to see what the benefit of meditating in this way is. If there is no benefit, then there's no point in even contemplating death and the time of death, etc., etc. There's no point to it. And so this is called taking the adverse conditions onto the path and really saying, I meditate in this way on these aspects of the topic of death in order to, as an exhortation to practice, to really see the benefit. What benefit is there? To really make the most of life, really.
돈보고 뒤보고다 선견대 아니 지게를 줘 되기도 와. 좋아다. 다 말아서 다다다다 지당 가로서다 벤조 야제 줘야다. 아니 즉 되게 건강 어저게 저 튕게 딩가라서 선견이 bekejar 와. 다 되게 어저 간사서는 내게 요구도 와. 요구도 와. 다 좋아 다 되셔. 즉 벤조 쪽보쪽보 야제 줘라. 아니 다세 뭐 용해져도 자만다서 되게 나사서 뭐 요것도 같다. 다 가이나면은 다 맨다 사에 통에 되게 된 거서 순전 이버때 이래야 아니 타마타마데 지게야 제도도 와. 지게 제도도 왔다. 그래. 나 다른 뭐다다 리리다 남조다 되게 돼. 뭐저 이제 순전이 베기자로 알아서 편도지게 쇠배들 편도지게 딜라 때는다 답변주는 민망고 시우지 시도 요것도 왔다. 시우지 괜찮대 되고 여러 직전에 남주 그런 새 남주 된데 매번 용다리 시월에 들이 시바 망아 유그리지다. 답변전에 시바도 망아 유그리. 유그리다 된데 유그리. 이게 다 순전히 바뀌었다 된데 용되기도 하다. 순전에 지견을 차네. 다 지견대다 시험 거자. 순전에 지견을 차트도 그거 매등 소리도 하야 뭐 삼다. 루만나게 말면 내게 돼서 들어와 다 되래.
And so here it's saying that there are many conditions that give rise to death, but few for sustaining life. And it reiterates this in Nagarjuna's Precious Garland. It said there are many conditions for death and few to sustain life. And that here it's not even that. He said, again, is pointing out, even those conditions for life can perversely cause death. We have seen this in so many times. Like, you could say that, for somebody who's dedicated towards accumulating wealth, more and more wealth, that you can say that they're also accumulating more and more harmful conditions that might lead to their death, such as more enemies and more possibility of kind of disease. Because of the massive effort they're putting in, really wasting their life on the accumulation of wealth. And even though they might have the money to avail of good medical conditions and so on, in the end, it's hard to avoid the conclusion that their whole lifestyle has been, leading to their death. And that even though in their minds, it was all about sustaining their life. Not to mention things like, as someone would say, a step up in life is to have a car, to travel by car. And yet, so many people die in driving accidents, that even more than in many other ways that people die. It's, again, this perverse thing. Even the conditions that we see as positive, life-affirming conditions are conditions that lead to death. So it's, it's like life is described as a butter lamp in a hurricane, very fragile.
Myanmar jobato loboto yangsal thongwata khamba tiba anu re da chida ode da kasada dushiba da ko atiba to loboto kasada sadong loboto sadong tu juyasa shiwa so shen loboto shiwa nam perjena da kaja 타예바 저러다 타예바 저 다다 대대비 다디 배저 잡다 다자 대대비 추제 노원도 소소에 대대겠다 추제 라지 차대요래 대대비 지게 용의 예대의 전치 지역의 뒤지게 차대요래 된자 추제 노원도 삼신 아니 그래서 류 추이 부와다서 냠중에 안 납치는 예바 매바 시제라 사다 루보 자주 니마드 바위에 세베 류제 가서 류제 대다장 태와 양내에서 류버 미주나 신도 냠중 미다 묘지 첼스 말아서 미르데 다 셴고로 사시 전부디에 다 타마타마들다 이제 교체 차원도 셰수메 치다 렌제 차원에 치다 깨네 치다 깨게 나네바 루만 나도 마미시 셰수 바타르사
And so, and in more examples of these conditions that give rise to death, whether it's being pierced by some weapon, or one is poisoned, or one is harmed by yakshas, demons, non-human elements, evil kings, and then black magic, in which our life is taken away, and that we can have an imbalance within our four elements, causing disease, and that can lead to death. Even the food that we eat can be incompatible with our health. The medicine is incompatible with our health, and sometimes it causes death as well. And that we can have sudden deaths, falling off a cliff, or when our house collapses, or the boat sinks, or our raft capsizes, or we die say from a stroke or heart attack. Indeed, so many ways in which we can suddenly pass away. And we have to look at all the different ways that we can die and say, I have the same nature as all those who have died. So there's no question that I will die as well, and that it could happen anytime. Saying like life, it says, it's like a water bubble, so brittle, and that this shows that death is absolutely definite. Again, from Letter to a Friend, it says that 7 suns will burn the earth, Mount Meru, the oceans, and all samsaric beings will turn to ashes. Nothing will remain. What need I then say about extremely insignificant people and the like? And then also from the Precious Garland, it says, we remain under the sway of death like a butter lamp in a hurricane.
다간에서 참아수바다비자 개 충주지가 로보드 지게 제토의 친구를 치외서 최마도 신이 간야미 배바 그래서 간제 저 어딘데 저 지게 살았다해 아니 어 지게 나서다 아니 다간제 치와 검네 되는 우다 치치스데 아니 요와 마이다네 야테마도 와차다 치스근 잡으러 다른 무슨 게요 말와 치치스데 아니 마타네 아니 야 도마도 그 바다다들다 치와서 차로라다. 그러지 마.
And so, like, we can also, have this, these very sudden death through being even pricked by a thorn. Get some sort of poisonous, and we get it blood poisoning, and the way that's death for us. It's something that can happen, so quickly, so by such apparently insignificant causes. And we have to remember that death means like you exhale and then you don't inhale again. It's not something distant, like far away. That's all it is. You breathe out and you don't breathe in anymore. That's death.
치와서 베지 가서 다 지금 나라도 단신 열어 당 엠티 가자 바비넷 단신 온게 치그리 베서는 치그리 간가 레그래 치그리 이내 데린 지금 말에 선이 지금 말에 삼사거든 띵딱 마시보도 영어 대지래도 마시보도 영어 대지래도 영어 대지래도 안 딜라데는 딱 먼저 찾지 뭐 그거 열어 그거 열어 딱 이제 어디 가두이데 영어 단신 온게 단신 온거 영어 대지
So we never think of it like that. We always have what's called, we're suffering from what's called grasping at permanence. It's a whole mind state where you say, yeah, of course, I know I'm going to die. I know death is definite, but you never think it's going to happen to you. At least not now. You have this grasping at permanence all the time. And so, this is a thing where, if what this does is it prevents you from actually making proper preparations for death and for future life, and you just fill your life with all these plans and and busyness, really.
치외 넘버 거네 아니 랑 치조다는 신 아니 중앙 팁당 다 중앙 가서데 사초 멜로 안 남과 남셰스 인데 중앙 팁다다 아니 삼로단다 그마 팀원도 중앙 아니 가서 사초 메 사출도 출론도 논 남과다 남셰트 원지스 마트 안 디게 인 삼로단 전에 왔다 중앙 팀단도 삼로단다 아니 원지 마트 아니 치와 용다지 이제 삼로단 아니 지금 우 교화도 좀 삼로단 전에 마 치와 권네 ramgosu kora chigu yoba namba chonto komni wadende samlo tang tuwe ina ane chiwa tosi kasa de geshe shukchiga yon tuwe chi geshe shukchiga yon tuwe chi chiwe namba komsenchi
There is the actual meditation, when we actually really go through what we think is the actual process of death itself, where you actually feel the elements dissolving, the earth element, wind element, fire element, space element, and so on, that they are dissolving, the water element dissolving, and then you're breathing, you feel it's getting heavier, getting shorter. You actually simulate that as much as you can to get that feeling for actually what death will be like. So you get some sort of recognition of the whole process of death.
Yeah, 가서 치와 미다 왔디게 아니 배 개치모 가서 치와 미다 왔데 아니 최를 주에 과직이 요래 아니 발라 아니 최 못는 냠내 제도야 차 대본 것도 주도와 그 토다 바송도 개치고 싶자 되기도 와 내가 싶자 되기도 와
So it said that this kind of meditation and the contemplation on death has been described as very significant meditation, in that it can initiate one's practice, can spur you to begin your practice. It also gives you the resilience to continue with your practice, to become really stable and consistent in your practice. And it's even very beneficial at the end, when you can gain the results of that practice. So it's said to be good at the beginning, the middle, and the end.
근데 치와 미다 와삼로다는 최야고지 돕도와이나 아니 치와 딜라 강해요 말에 치와 중앙인데 다 로야스레 치도서나 루부 사발 딜레 루부 야가레 두르와 그 유튜브 되게 요와 유튜브 되도 그 지금 강해매 되겠지 로다 루부 도스 gem바차트는 대도에 도스 강해요 랑도에 도스 강해요 다 시도네 내가 개미도 아니 루부 사발 레라 루부 딜레 야가 피다가 레도 소소 딩주요 봐 was nyamne jigen jiba ina an kwante dulo jeba so se keke kan yo marwa.
And so that when we take this seriously and engage in decent spiritual practice, then by the time death comes, we have no problems, because you have confidence in how you have lived your life, and that you're really looking forward to what happens next. You're going, if you've reached old age, then you've obviously got physical problems sitting down, problems getting up again, and you have the pains and aches of old age naturally, and you can think, well, great, I'll leave this body and I'll get a new, fresh body, a much fitter one, and it'll be much better. So you can really look forward with confidence to the next life, and that it's like no more than a change of clothing for you.
어디래 다 두로 제발로베 소리 차리와 두로 제발로베서 다들 강하게 말 거는 코란 지 치와디 남준의 치와 검네 아니 뒤지 촐라 마당하제네 아니 지금 다 가자 님부 렌토와 지고요 봐 님부 렌토와 지도 아니 제마 르데 상보다 아니 녀송을 깨 먹어야 돼 근데 주주 때도 그 남다게 요 말봐 남다게 요 말이 어디래
So that that this is really key then, to have that sense of confidence when your time comes, that you realize you haven't wasted time, you have taken the essence of this life, you have not created the causes for the suffering of the lower realms, and so why would you have any fear? Why would you be concerned or have any anxiety? You're ready. You've done your job, and death is coming. You will have a better, fortunate rebirth.
다 다다 뒤수여죠. 아니 치와 미다와 아니 지금 고에서는 딱 봐서 칙 라베스는 카레 라베레 아니 되바 메겐전 되바 있나? 아니 들어 쳐라 도나게 메버체. 아니 당문에 치와들 내한테는 그 바유에 가야 말이야. 그 탑시 가야 말이야. 아니 대대다 탑시 가야 메버 하서다 방법이 우저라. 미지 예배 대 거기 내서 되는 연구부터 아산에 아니 삼려 나가 여봐체 아니 다디 제 여봐 있나? 딱 가야 말이야.
So that for those who really have a real distaste for even hearing about the topic of death, don't want to even hear the word mentioned, and as a result, they'll have really no interest in really taking the essence of their life, of engaging in any kind of spiritual practice. And so when their death comes, they really have nothing to draw on. And it will be a very anxious time for them. Nothing to do with that point. It's a real disaster for them, really. Whereas, when we are mature enough to understand that, death is the end, the time of death and so on is indefinite, that it really exhorts us, spurs us to engage in practice and to do the necessary preparation. And so once we reach that, then knowing that we have done our best, that we have made that preparation, no worries, no problem.
다 치외체 최마도 신칸이자 편바메데서 니시 제동 지다 치외서 타고자 지자 치서메 다그 탑치메자 이도에 놀기여서 풍부 진이지 여와 이나야 뒤전점에 계산해 되겠지 충주제 계획에 되겠지 현재도 계획에서 샤류장 아니 제고이지 좋아 제고 아니 체디 푸조조와 푸조라서 차베 지시자 다 된데 이거자 푸조조와 되돌아 차는 딱 가르 편도도 지시자 7월 가서 7월 자닝 예바로 오야다 소조그 그 미지도 다 소줄류된 정부의 치와서 그 자진에 예바로 온 것도 올라 나모라는 예바미도 매지 데린다 가서 데리라야 가서다 데리라야서 친예유다 데리라야 치와도 용해기 내가 유에되게 유에면서 7월 잠시 잡고 또 스타트인데 이번서다 7월 자티 단단한 마지나 탐이도 제가 봐도 7장 장서 세디 분조 탐제 나서 맞아봐라 안천 나바다 맞아 다다니네 잡고 또 대다 전에보다 라마래 징글랍도 쇠득제
And so then the third of the main outlines of the topic of death is that only Dharma will be a benefit to us at that time of death. And so here it's important to understand that the beloved ones, those who we really care for, who even if we are surrounded by them at the time of death, they're going to be no good. We can't take any of them with us. And likewise, whatever store of wealth, of really appealing wealth that we have gathered up and accumulated over life, we can't take even one particle of that wealth with us. It's again pointless and no good to us. And even the flesh and blood and bone that we have been born with, that we have come into this world with, we can't take that with us. That must be left as well. And so here it's saying, what good is the so-called excellence of attachment to the so-called excellence of this life? And so here that we know that the enemy of death is coming. We don't know when. The time of death is indefinite. And so we could be at risk of death even today. And so we need to start making preparations. And what kind of preparations do we need to make? It's that this really centers on really losing our attachment to the so-called excellence of this life and engaging in pure spiritual practice right now. And then we turn to the Guru on our crown, say, please Guru Lama, please bless me to be able to make this so.
그래서 슈베다 대다디 아니 객지가 좀 하다 대대 또밖에 객지가 좀 하다 그 상소 써서 아니 딱가서 대다디 딱한테 지금 가서 지원해 봐 남친님의 집에서 지금만도 간장미 미변백에는 가서 다 똑같게 되는 라시 선제 단계를 계속서 똑같은 라시 선제 단계를 계속 삼삼.
And so then, as a result of our making supplications in this way, then the 5 colored nectar lights begin to emanate from the heart center of the Guru deity on our crown, entering into the minds of myself and all other sentient beings, and that all of the obstacles to gaining such realizations are eradicated in the bodies and minds of myself and all sentient beings, and they are completely purified, and simultaneously we are able to generate the realizations of these particular this particular topic in our mind streams, namely the fact that death is definite, that the time of death is indefinite, and that at the time of death only Dharma will be of benefit to us.
어디랬잖아. 아니 딜라데나 딜라데나 딱 가르고고였으나 대긴 슈번에시 아니 디가서데 치원예바 인사 안 최주에 타제게 타제 아니 남친예바 예매 인사 최단단을 주면 타제 안 치외서 최칸도 최면도 간장미배 인사 아니 지제다 최소 좋아지 간다 최칸도 주면지 오다 타주 제네다 된데게는 제투에게는 아니 다 And
so then, like having really generated those 3 outlines as realizational at the realizational level in our mind stream, means that having realized that death is definite, that we are absolutely resolved to engage in spiritual practice. Having realized that the time of death is indefinite, we are absolutely resolved to engage in that practice now, not procrastinating anymore. And having realized that at the time of death only Dharma is going to be of any benefit to us, we are resolved to engage solely in spiritual practice. And that means that we are really praying and making supplication to the Guru deity to eradicate all obstacles to our being able to do this, and to furnish us with all conducive conditions for practice.
right? And the Lenyu Shamacha is a mutune, Dungachi, Dungachi, Letty. There is Kange Manguchi, and the Kange to get the church to be Twingel Pachatwich. The church to be Twingel Java Yimba, and the Soso Kange the church to be torture. Gagan Chayama, church to be torture. Church to be torture, and the Kange de Latene, Rang Dunga Teva Sagmari. And the Dunga Teva Masabe Kala, Kange de Mozu Casora, Kange de Yende Tonga. Yende Tona Kange de Latin Makiba Chagmari. This was getting what it was.
What's key to this is really transforming our whole attitude as those who are living in cyclic existence. So here, ourselves, our companions, our friends, those who we associate with, we are all in this place of cyclic existence, which is in the nature of suffering. So we're going to have problems. We're going to have suffering, and not just because of our own karma and mental afflictions, of course, but it's because of the nature of where we are as well. So it's extremely important that we start the process of a complete transformation of how we perceive problems, how we perceive suffering, so that we can actually take problems and use them, take them onto the path, use them for our practice, and be very proactive at doing this, and that not to see them as obstacles, not to see them as something that impedes with my mind, my ability to transform my mind.
Okay.
That by being able to see problems in this way and to use them, to take them onto the path, means that one, they don't become extra suffering. So we don't dwell on them like that as anymore. So they don't become extra suffering. And in fact, when we see them as some sort of conducive condition for practice, then we can see qualities in those problems that we didn't see before. And because we see it as a quality, we don't actually invest in the suffering that it might cause. So there's no kind of unhappiness that comes from that.
아니 동해 중앙을 때는 동해 중앙을 때는 아니 최주에 통계 동해의 최주에 통계를 배주 땅도 같은 뭐처럼 야부 중앙 임바이나 아니 동해 중앙이 아니 동해 중앙 때는 랑 내가 마기와 매바 마기와 마중아 마세 아니 마음바게 동해 교야 마주고 차도도 동해 좀 마주배 가라 대외 교두고 차도도 다디 중앙이나 아니 랑 동해 타마 차도도.
So indeed, this is the way to really overcome suffering in the long term and completely and definitely. You know, when we're able to see, you know, the qualities in suffering and in problems, and to be able to recognize that, you know, very, very clearly, then, you know, from that suffering, we don't have to experience temporary unhappiness. But also because we are taking that suffering onto the path, we are not only avoiding that temporary unhappiness, but we're also not creating any future causes for suffering, but creating future causes for definite happiness. So this is the way in which we actually reach that point of definite happiness, complete happiness. So if we can use that kind of technique, that kind of attitude, that perception, it would be really excellent. So that's kind of real happiness. So when we say, "How are you?" I'm happy. You know, that really would be happiness, true happiness you're talking about there.
남주 미투드 참리셔다 가서 대발다 지게 하와를 요사 베베 대보이면 월 룩수요 말수다 거기 아 셈바상부께기도 해. 셈바상부께기도 했어. 셈바상부께는 기부예요.
So it's like again I was reminded of the great Lama Atisha, whose habit was very dissimilar to the way we meet people, where we say, "How are you? How are you going?" He would never say that when he met a new person. He would simply say, "Have you generated a good mind today?" I mean, meaning that if you have, then you're going to be happy, aren't you?
딱 문에는 나라도 남주다 하와리요서다 다 룩스 설주와. 룩스 문에 샘딩네 딱 문에 소설 남녀부 여사 이거는 남주 패쳐와서도 다가 뒤 앉아 다가 셔죠. 레저는 도나 요마르와 그래도 딱 코나서도 패쳐와라게 도나를 받아.
So I see the attitude of which it's said to, of course, is very significant. Our kind of like asking after each other when we meet, "How are you?" and so on. Now, with friends, of course, we may have some a real genuine feeling behind what we say, but for the most part, it's kind of throwaway phrase, isn't it? You know, we don't even hear the answer sometimes. But for Lama Atisha, it's just that the love with which he was greeting people. You know, "How have you generated a good mind today?" I mean, it's a wonderful thing to say.
Yeah, what 딱 이제 셈바 상부지 여 사바잖아. 셈바 상부지게 사바잖아다. 녀몽 그것이라 충하러. 녀몽 그거 충하에는 기워 예요로다. 기워 매번 녀몽 속에서 제수가면도.
So if you have that good-hearted mind, then you have not given any opportunity to mental affliction to arise. And if you're not giving any opportunity to mental affliction to arise, then you're going to be that much happier.
디발라 지금 배는 누저 얘가 튕게 야고 시부지를 때 튕게 야고 시부지를 때 이네 미스터 마지가 지도 루마 가바이는 요때 이날 디발 튕게 야고 된대 요다 썸마지가 차고 가이나 상사 요다 시부지 연구도 왔어 마지가 차 근데 가르자는 자우선 가서 동해디 람도 캐마도 와 인자 뒤 잡아라다 동해 연구 요래 아니 딜라 마서 맞자 마기바 전 대대고 요봐 다 동해 영화데 아니 람도 캐신 게 있나 동해데 최초에 통계를 배주 당근이나 아니 강해도 연구요 말봐 강해도 마용한다 아니 기부 열받다 기부 연구 열봐 뭐서 다 셈마기바 차야다 아니 당당 매경에 되게도 망체데 동해 람도 캐 마시다 괜데래도 와 좋아 동해 람도 캐 마시자 아니 소수 동해데 동해 체슈통 아니 데 아니 마기바 전 대대
And so, I've noticed in the Western world here, where we have so much great, modern living and external conditions are really wonderful, but there is tremendous mental unhappiness as well. And of course, that is the same in every country, we know that, but in here, it's particularly so because the fact that people cannot take suffering onto the path, really. They have this really very, how do you say, exacerbating attitude towards suffering. They find any kind of suffering unbearable, and that there's kind of like no ability to look on suffering in any other way, only as to how it really negatively impacts on them. And so if we have this attitude to be able to see suffering as a quality to impel us or to encourage us to engage in spiritual practice, then we're taking the nastiness out of that suffering. We're able to take it onto the path, and we won't have any problem with that suffering. And whereas at the moment, in the West, it's very much the case that people really cling to and own suffering as being, for themselves, as my suffering is the greatest suffering there is. Nobody has a greater suffering than I have, or worse suffering than I have, which is very detrimental.
예, 어디를 가서는 가서 저 가서를 소수그디 소수 동네 주고 삼로 땅 이마이나 아니 그 자충주 차거든 자충주 차도 아니 샘 자충보면 동네 충주지나 수역 가보 차되거든 수역 가보 차되거든 점점 대화 저번에도 그래서 동네 제시제도 점점 동말 그냥 날 동네 좋아하시 용금도 그래서 딜레 동네 차도 뭐좀 용료래 아니 동네 친구 여사들의 용료다 돈료래 소소의 용료 어디도 게임도 와서 딜레 차야 되는 동안 그래서 그 삼로 땅땅하지 있잖아요 용도 와 지난번에 뭐저 동네 매버되는 말도 동네 용구였대 이내 피게 동네 섬도 제시 잡당 가시게 동네들 도서 얌쳐버리지 얌쳐 가서 이제 뭐라나 나 코나이나 뭐라나 동네 요래 그래서 삼로고 돈에 동네 친구 싶어요 와 디가 살다 강하면 누가 삼사 용거들 이나들라 그 삼로 당시 마신 돈에 용말 왔다 내 용거도 와
So this this problem of this solely focusing on just oneself is very detrimental in that because then everything untoward that happens, every little obstacle kind of is magnified as a great suffering for oneself, and it's kind of really exaggerates the suffering for it. And so it's a question of really changing focus to open out and not just think of oneself. It's interesting that in interviews it's often the case that I have heard people come and explain a suffering that in their own minds is extremely difficult and very hard for them to bear. But again, as when I hear what their explanation, it doesn't. I can't see the suffering in it at all. It's like, what are they talking about? It's irrelevant. It's so insignificant, and because you've gone through that yourself, you've explained, you've been able to handle so much more in life in terms of suffering and know how to take it onto the path. That in many ways, so many people's explanations of their suffering doesn't sound like suffering at all. But for them, it's very real. It's really very real, and they really are suffering because they're living in such a kind of tight space mind-wise, and that it's all filled with just their own self cherishing, really.
어떻게 이나 당고서 그 삼로고 토네 다 저기 다 로종 저 premi스 야고도 로종고 토 삼로고 토네 로 장전 아니 되게 다 갱에 람드키 아니 다가는 이제 야 되게 중에 되게 돼 람드키 som자야 되게 두주 돌아 당하지 요다 로아 아니 동해 중에 돼 람드키 봐 되게 중에 람드키 봐.
So this is like, when we talk about all of this, it really comes down to the way one is thinking. And that's why we talk about the mind training as being absolutely paramount, isn't it? We can train our mind. Not just when taking, adverse conditions onto the path, like we have been talking about, but even happiness itself can be a waste of time. So we know how to take happiness onto the path as well. So it's very important that mind training really makes the most efficient use of our lives.
다가 이제 수 통화이네, 수 투바이네. 아니 수가 계제 약을 나와이네, 독자 나와이네, 갈 나와이네. 되게 아니 초주에 통계를 배주당 되지. 초주에 도와를 배주당 되지.
So the skill is that whoever we see, whoever we meet, whoever we speak with, whether it's they speaking negatively or positively or anything else, that whatever the experience is, we are able to understand it, recognize it, and take it onto the path, take it into our spiritual life.
어디랬지? 다가 이제 남시 차와이네, 장모이네, 되게 그가 초주에 통계를 배주당 주겠어. 딱 가리 만들어.
And this goes for everything, even inanimate things like weather, whether the weather is hot or cold, irrelevant. We take all of the conditions that we are encountering onto the path.
초주에 통계보다 되잖아. 딱 이제 지금 라라 팬토네, 라라 뇌계계이네, 다 근데 좀 있네. 어때가 초주에 통계를 배워. 왔다다 근데지네 구조 자세 건가? 삼로 콜세 건가? 되게 초주에 통계를 배주당 요겠지.
So whether the situation is harmful to me or beneficial to me, I take it on as a condition for spiritual practice. That whatever the situation is, I take it on and be able to have the skill to do that in my life.
왔다 디백 검실을 자투가잖아. 디 검실을 자투도잖아. 아니 초주에 강하게 그러던 거서 난 뒤수가 강하게 제대로 왔다 되는 대수애들에 뒤수 제가 내 되게 여러 제가 지죠. 가서나 차사 초주에 통계를 배주 당토나 아니 그 뒤에 초주에 고급이 되는 저도.
So it's to be able to develop this into a spontaneous habit is so beneficial, so useful. It's not like we're dividing our times. I've got a half an hour for that, I've got a half an hour for this, and so on. That every aspect, every moment of the 24/7 is like you have the habit of being able to see it through the lens of Dharma practice.
딱 간장 거서 세네고 무시도 세네고 쓰기도 되다. 근데 이번에는 다 뒤주되네 거래. 지금 남교 가서도 다 지금 랜드를 예배 돈에 철로 봐 검지된 줘야 돼. 그가 철봐 그러셔야 돼. 아니 대대고 뒤주고 그 뒤에 제외 되는 것도 와. 다야 지금 세네 두긴 쓰기도 되다. 또 싱글 폰스 세네 두다. 약간 뒤주 예제 쓰는 맞잖아. 근데
Of course, when you're doing stuff like trying to develop a mental quiescence, where you need that time to develop the discipline of mind, yes, of course, you take the necessary time to focus solely on something like that. Otherwise, your mind is going to remain too distracted and so on. But we're talking about in the context of practice, in the context of law of cause and effect, that everything we're doing is used to accumulate the correct causes and then have aspiration for those correct effects. So let's leave it there for today.
최주위에 아니 딱 가서서 아직 가서서 다 지금 시대 조 뒤가 내봐 샤고에 정도 렌데 가네 봐 샤고에.
So that we really to be able to really make the most of our life is to find that conviction in the law of cause and effect, to really live our lives according to that, to know what the correct causes are, to accumulate what things to avoid and so on, and to really dedicate our lives to that. So every condition every situation in life can be a potential spiritual practice.
다 단다데 오데전 다 단다데 지볼라 라말하이 검샤바 지볼라 그래서 라마토아 도지 창 검샤도 라마토아 도지 창게 아니 마 랑닝 디페마다 제질라스 콤바셰 아니 라마토아 도지 창데 아니 마 페마다 제티가 니마도 다베데 아니 지볼 마 덴다제 마타제 아니 빠데자 라마라 다리 니가 가 고소도 고조자도 소 담베 파스셰 니베 파스슈 소메고 텐도 산제 고마도 아니 제수수 오데데 콤바셰.
And so now we bring our minds to focus on the figure of Munindra Vajradhara, our own guru, on our crown, and at our heart center, the 8-petaled upturned lotus and the lotus and moon discus seat, and at which we have prepared. And then we make the invitation prayer, O glorious and precious root guru, come take your lotus and moon seat placed here at my heart. Keep me safe in your kindness and bestow on me the attainments of your body, speech, and mind, 3 times. The first begins that journey down through our central channel. The second, the Munindra Vajradhara comes to rest at our heart center. And after the third recitation, we have the certainty of the Guru Munindra Vajradhara remaining steadfast until we attain enlightenment.
아니 닝 배마답게 마인데 숨전 아니 와답 들으잖아 남준이 내다는 내체 아니 디가들 도지 체가치 what is my card you check and then the kaza oma yi really yo ama so as the oma ka the was the ngate to go yet ama ngate to go yo so oma yet ama draw but ma shamana is so as this question and then is training and rangita 지금 류 때문에 용서는 왜 칸에다 구조도 지금 납수 삼사잖아 딱 먼저 산재기 뭐 산재 고마도 거기 제수 송수 선도는 스카고.
And then we reflect that the petals of the upturned lotus fold over and seal over the figure of Munindra Vajradhara at our heart center. The top of the petals are sealed by half Vajra, and then sealed further by the 3 mantras. The syllables of the Sanskrit vowels. Circling in a clockwise direction, the consonants in an anti-clockwise direction, and the mantra of dependent origination in a clockwise direction. Then we feel that our body, or say light, emanates from there and enters into every corner aspect of our body and mind, and that we feel we are completely blessed in body, speech, and mind, and we have the protection of the Guru until we attain the state of enlightenment.
And so the Shidu Tave Lung the Yelinge, and because Lama Shaja Sengege, and a good Hinji chicken channel, Rangi with Lama Shaja Sengege, good Josu, some such.
And through the combination of our own most subtle wind as the main cause and the body of the Guru Munindra Vajradhara as the cooperating conditions, our own body transforms into the body of an enlightened being.
Also, the Shindus Tave sent the Yelinge, and Lama Shaja Sengege, two the Hinji chicken channel, and also sent the Lama Shaja Sengege, two the Josu, some such.
And then through the combination of our own most subtle mind as the substantial cause and the mind of the Buddha as the cooperating conditions, our own mind transformed into the enlightened mind of a Buddha. Now we have this realization of our own body and mind being inseparable from the body and mind of a Buddha. From that arises bliss. From that bliss, emptiness, and we abide in the wisdom of non-dual bliss and voidness. And the place where we are transforms from all stains and becomes a pure land.
semjege tanda nyaba chodo ta nyawa yi da tuno mina suma kala suma semje tamje la pobel tene ane deda ga tuma meba dikba da dikba ta se nyamja ta je jaji ta ne lama shaje se kulu kyosu samsamje.
And then through the rays of light entering emanating from our own heart center as a Shakyamuni Buddha, as a fully enlightened Buddha, and equal in number to all the sentient beings in all the 6 realms of existence, from the hell realms, the hungry spirit realms, the animals, the human beings, the asuras, and the desire realms, celestial beings, the form realms, and the formless realms. And that entering into the crowns of all the beings therein, they are completely transformed, all their negativities are purified, and they arise as fully enlightened Buddhas. And all faults associated with their particular realms are completely purified, and they transform into pure Buddha realms. So we rejoice how wonderful today I've fulfilled my goal of bringing all sentient beings to enlightenment. How wonderful that is. And we make the dedication that, of course, I'm performing all this through my imagination now, but that it may quickly become truly manifest. I make the dedication. And we do the Lamrim prayer. From my 2 collections, vast the space that I have amassed from working with effort at this practice for a great length of time. May I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds, whose demise is blinded by ignorance. Even if I do not reach this state, may I be held in your loving compassion for all lives in history. May I find the best, the complete graded paths of the teachings, and may I please all the Buddhas by my practice. Using skillful means drawn by strong force of compassion, may I clear the darkness from the minds of all beings with the points of the path as I have discerned them. May I uphold Buddha's teachings for a very long time. With my heart going out with great compassion in whatever direction the most precious teachings have not yet spread, or once spread have declined, may I reveal this treasure of happiness and aid. May the minds of those who wish for liberation be granted bounteous peace, and the Buddha's deeds be nourished for a long time, by even this graded path to enlightenment completed, due to the wondrous virtuous conduct of the Buddhas and their children. May all human and non-human beings who eliminate adversity and create conducive conditions for practicing the excellent paths never be parted in any of their lives from the purest path praised by the Buddhas. Whenever someone makes effort to act in accordance with the 10-fold Mahayana virtuous practices, may they always be assisted by the mighty ones, and may oceans of prosperity spread everywhere. Lord,